Welcome to the American Fork Podcast.
Welcome.
Is that how we start this show?
Yeah, that's it.
Every time?
Some kind of new sound effect that we do with our mouths.
Something like that.
That was very energetic.
Thank you.
It's good work.
You know, it's I haven't
Brought
even
to you by
taken.
Ghost Energy.
I haven't even drank any of it yet, and that's what you're starting with.
Wow, that's
I was going to make a joke like you're cracking a beer.
No, but no.
No.
Okay.
No,
I just read that these are going to kill you.
Oh, the energy drinks.
All sugary drinks or
Go specifically,
fake sugar.
Go specifically, or just energy drinks in general?
No, not. They weren't saying the energy. They were saying the sugar. And these say zero sugar, but they have a
Fake
sugar
sugar.
substitute.
Yeah, of course they do.
Which they're saying also causes heart disease.
I thought they were just going to kill me by blunt trauma to the head,
Oh,
falling on me or something.
yeah,
Yeah.
maybe.
Okay. Well, with me is some of my best friends.
welcome
and
to the show.
And again, yeah, welcome to the show and Phil's Doctor Hour.
Dr.
Oh, I
Phil.
got more coming.
Okay. Well, hold back. Across from me is Phil. Hello, Phil.
Hello.
Diagonal from me is Jake. His
Yes,
hair
it's
is
true.
looking very nice today.
Great, luscious, full.
You know, I can't imagine you with hair anymore.
Okay.
Weird, right?
Yeah,
See, I was trying to set it up so that it sounded like he had hair, and then you just ruined it.
I know. But I can't. I really can't.
But with
know-
the
You know,
One
it
day.
looks like I have a lot of hair, but in the sun, you can see all the way to the back of my head because it's getting
Yeah.
so thin on top.
so arguably with the best hair in the room, Tyler. Hi.
Hello. Thanks for having me, guys.
And then our awesome guest today is Terry. Terry is can we call you a YouTuber or is that an insult? I say you're a treasure hunter.
I'm a treasure hunter, and
Hell
I
yeah.
try to do YouTube. I'm not that great at it, but I try.
Yeah. I might disagree with you not being great at it. You think you do pretty good, actually. But we'll agree to disagree or something like that.
Yeah, what is good?
What is good? Thanks for coming with us, Terry. Terry's a treasure hunter. He's got lots of information on information that I would classify as things passed down from friends and relationships of myths and secrets and different things that are going on and treasures. And I don't even know how to summarize what you've got, but I stumbled upon your page and I love it. So
We'll
I'm
call
excited
it
to get into it.
evidence-based lore.
Geez, I'm starting to like you.
Okay. Let's calm down now.
Jeff's really excited about treasure.
I do, actually.
Yeah.
I think all of us do. And if you don't, you're denying it, Phil.
Oh,
you,
I didn't
you
say
have
I
a
didn't.
problem.
Anyone?
First-
Who doesn't like
every-
treasure?
I know.
Every
Doesn't like finding something in the ground. Has
That
to be in the
comes-
ground, though.
that comes innate in every male human being is an interest in treasure.
Yeah.
All the women are like, who cares? That's man
Right?
stuff.
They're like, when you find it, bring it back so I can get a new car.
Yeah.
That's what they would say.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm
cool.
not going to go dig it, but
Hey,
you can go.
I got a quick story. I went to scuba diving in Cozumel, New Mexico, and on my last night there, I went out to the beach with my metal detector and found a half-carat diamond ring.
What?
Whoa.
And I went there. I was going to find a Spanish galleon. I had an underwater detector, and where I ended up being, it was in a national park. So they would not let me take my metal detector. And so the last night we was on the beach in Cancun, and my friend says, come on, let's go out and use that thing. We didn't bring it here for nothing. And the very first thing I found was that diamond ring. Well,
Wow.
I took it home and gave it to my wife, and she was all excited. She says, man, you can go anytime you want. Just bring me back something like this, and we're
See?
good.
Bring
Point
more
proven.
rings.
Point proven. She's jazzed as long as you bring home the gold.
Yep.
But if you
Fun.
spend hours and hours out there and come back with nothing,
Nope. Just don't
Probably.
go home.
Yeah.
That's probably my rec. Anyway, we'll get into that. I'm actually very excited about it. So, all right, let's start off with the news. We've got some actual American Fork news. American Fork is kicking butt these days, apparently.
Right?
And
Putting ourselves on the map.
I know. We actually, a lot of times we try to find news in American Fork, Terry, and we can't. We have to go off to Orem or Provo or something.
Or
where
find
something,
the trash schedule changes. or
yeah,
whatever.
something dumb. But this one's from American Fork. So there's a guy named Daniel Simmons. He broke the national record for track, 5,000 meter, which is pretty cool. Like the indoor track,
5,000 meters.
which is what, several miles.
I don't know.
It's It's like 2.5 miles, I think.
Oh,
But the big deal is that he beat it by 18 seconds, which is like
whoa.
1,000 years in track
So-
terms.
3 miles,
3.1 miles,
3.1 miles.
5,000 meters.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say.
18 seconds, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Wait, how old is he?
He's a high school kid in American Fork.
Wow.
He's slated to go to BYU.
Uh-huh.
Of course.
Of course, where every fast runner goes is what you were thinking, right?
Exactly.
Or every white Mormon kid. Is that what you were thinking?
Every white Mormon
Okay.
kid goes to BYU.
Yeah, he's a beast.
That's cool. Good for him.
Yeah. What was the high school track guy when we were there? Timo?
Timo Mostert.
Is he still there?
Yep.
I swear that guy, like, he's got
Something.
some sort of recipe.
Yeah,
I don't know
he's
what it is.
By far the best. At least he's coached the best cross country team for decades.
Forever.
Like, AF has always been really good.
So AF has been really good at cross country, or not cross country.
Yeah.
But, okay.
Cross
Yeah.
country specifically, but because of that, they've excelled in track.
I thought we were just a bunch of band nerds.
Well, that too. Yeah.
So
Yeah, I don't know if he does coach track. He didn't coach when I was doing track, but he was specific to cross country.
But I think,
But
anyway,
5K, 3 miles, that's like the transition between track and cross country.
right. I've never ran a day in my life, so I don't even know what you're talking about.
I ran 2
That just-
miles for soccer tryouts in high school. And I think that was the furthest I've ever
You did
ran.
soccer in high school?
I tried out, I
You
said.
tried out for soccer in
And
high
I
school?
made it, and then I did never go.
Neat. I
what
didn't
was
know that.
what was the fun run? How long was that?
I think it was 2 miles.
2 miles.
Was
I
that 2
think.
miles?
Mile and a half or
I
2
just
miles.
remember it was like around the track 3 times, and then around the whole junior high field,
Yeah.
and watching
That whole field, that whole area looks exactly the same as it did
Yeah.
when we were there.
and
Oh,
then
that's cool.
just watching people pass me because I would just stop running.
He looks like a beast, by the way. Here's a little video. Here's a video of him, but look at him. It's like he's ripped and svelte, I think is a
He's
word.
Svelte, yeah.
Svelte. Anyway, good job on you.
Yeah,
I think
good
it's
for
really
him.
neat.
Shout out, Mr. Brother Simmons.
Brother Simmons.
Good job. See you at priesthood.
How do he?
Soon to
We
be
don't
Elder
even know
Simmons.
if he is LDS.
We
or
don't know
Mormon.
at all, actually. He does have nice teeth.
I'm assuming
We
He
can
has
say.
nice teeth. So he
Tyler's
must be.
assuming.
I didn't say
he's
any-
white.
Come on,
he's
guys.
probably LDS.
Come on. All right, next story. It's a Utah story, and it is. This is what I called it. I called it. Oh, the brine shrimp have some friends.
Mm-hmm.
So the only multicellular animal to live in the Great Salt Lake is
The brine shrimp.
brine shrimp, and then also brine flies, which I don't know if that's like their larva. Anyway, brine shrimp and brine flies. That's been it
Yeah.
forever.
Is it BRIAN?
BRINE?
INE.
Brine. Yeah.
Brine, like a brine
Like a brine?
turkey.
Yeah,
Which
like
is a
salt.
saltwater based. Yeah.
So salt shrimp is kind of what it is.
But you take salt shrimp or shrimp from the ocean and put them in Salt Lake, they'll die because
It's too salty.
way too salty.
They
But,
grow over 0.4 inches long.
Yeah, they're small.
So the other term for them is sea monkeys.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody was real smart. They commercialized them and would sell them sea monkeys, like in I don't know if it's 60s, 70s. They became somewhat popular. They kind of came back a little bit
Whoa.
later.
I thought sea monkeys were crawdads.
Nope.
The brine shrimp fishing industry brings in 70 to 100 million annually in Utah.
You know what they do with it? They harvest it from the Great Salt Lake and they take it all the way to the Asian countries
Yeah, wow.
because no one wants to eat it here. But they use it a lot in, I don't know, other countries.
Interesting.
been in the Great Salt Lake area for at least 600,000 years.
Oh.
This is interesting.
The
fact.
oldest residents.
Did we ask them? Did we interview them? How long have you guys been here?
Yeah. So that's not even the story, guys. I know you're all jazzed
sorry.
about that, but they
Oh,
found
there
an-
wasn't a story there.
I do love a good sea monkey story.
Thanks,
That
Phil.
was the introduction to
Yeah.
the story.
Well, you guys went off like it was an awesome story. They found something else.
What?
Guess what it is?
Dinosaur.
Sea dragons.
Mm-hmm. Go on. And I'm not going to ask you, Jake, because I know
Sea
you know.
See orangutans.
Chimpanzee.
Full-size sea monkeys. All right, so scientists have long suspected this animal known as roundworms, and there's many, many, many kinds of roundworms in the world, but they were able to find one that lives in the sediment of the Great Salt Lake. So actually in the dirt and underneath the water, and obviously it's full of water. But yeah, they just found a new friend. It's a roundworm.
Is that like a ringworm?
Like a new species of worm?
Maybe I should read this story before I tell you guys about it.
I got a ringworm when I lived in the Philippines.
That's a different problem.
Right on my face.
Oh,
Ooh.
Yeah.
that's okay.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's the intestinal ones that really give me the heebie-jeebies.
Oh.
Ugh.
Terry's like, guys, let's move the fuck on.
So this says there's more than 250,000 known species of roundworms, and they just found a specific one in there.
Huh.
They're found all the way from frigid, arid conditions, like you've seen the documentary X-Files, right?
Mhm.
Where they spend the time in Antarctica and the worm like infects their brain. Have you seen that episode?
Yeah, that one's
Oh
a
my
crazy
god,
one.
it is so cool.
They come across this house, right, that built on the ice or whatever, and it turns out all the people inside were dead.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Oh, yep. Spoiler alert. Anyway,
This is the beginning.
but they actually find roundworms in conditions like that, and all the way to the bottom of the Great Salt Lake, and all the way everywhere in between. So hot conditions too. So the Brine Shrimp have friends.
So
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
everything
nice.
we've ever believed
Aren't you?
has changed.
Weren't you worried about them? They're all lonely in there.
Cool. Let's move on.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, how awesome was that story, Tyler?
I'll give it a solid 2.
I'll give you a story to pep
Because
you
it's
up.
actually
Okay.
because it's actually spelled BRINE.
So
That's what I said.
You
Yeah.
said BRINE.
that's what everyone said.
No, okay, sorry. I guess I
Can I tell you my gripe?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm finishing up a job
Is
yesterday.
that GRIPE?
Yeah,
Right. Okay.
with an A. GRIAPE.
The A is silent. Go on.
I'm finishing up a job yesterday I've been working on for years. So excited to come home. And I'm like, I've been working so hard. I've neglected my truck. I better get the oil changed so I don't like break down on the very last day on my way home from Las Vegas.
Oh my gosh.
So I go get the oil change at Jiffy Lube, and they're like, "Oh, looks like your radiator cap needs to be replaced. The gasket is just terrible." And then they pull out a new one and show me mine, and they're like, "See how yours has depressed in there, and this one isn't." Blah blah blah. Anyway, I'm like, "How much is it?" They're like, $12. I'm like, "Okay." So they put it on. I drive 5 miles up the road, park at like the grocery store, and I've got steam billowing out of my thing.
No.
I get out and pop the hood, and I've got coolant gushing out of
Yeah.
the radiator cap all over the place.
Yeah.
And so I call and call and call and call. They don't answer. So I call my mechanic. I'm like, "Did they like give me a bad cap or something?" He's like, "I don't know, man. You ought to see if you can find a cap." So I walked over to O'Reilly or one of those. Buy a
right.
new cap.
O'Reilly.
Go and put that on. All is well.
How much was the new cap?
That I bought,
Yeah.
it was like
$7.
$8. It was like
Oh, so the
$4
cheaper one. Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But it was the same cap that they put on.
Mhm.
But I'm like so worried coming home. I'm like, maybe something else is wrong. Maybe it's a thermostat or something. And then it like clicks on the way home. I'm like, they showed me mine, which had no problem. I was having no problem. And that thing was like depressed differently than the one that the new one they claimed
said
they were
is the
giving
new
me.
one.
They literally had one that was like blown. They had to have, right?
Oh, I don't know.
Because the little needle inside or whatever was like changed. They literally took my perfectly good radiator cap off and gave me a broken one.
Do you think Job works at Jiffy Lube and is like sleight of hand? Like,
Job.
here it
Yeah.
is.
Here it is.
That's what you think, right?
Here's your cap.
And then they
This is
charged me
not-
$140 for an oil change. Isn't
So-
that insane?
It is.
And then they
insane.
didn't answer the phone when you called them.
And didn't answer the phone. They finally, I got a hold of them later to the day and was like, all Kevin-esque, like, you ruined blah, 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 blah. And they're like, well, we're so sorry. And I didn't have time to go back there or anything. So
here's a
My
question
loss.
for you. This is going to solve all your problems if you think about life this way. If you were a competent, awesome mechanic, where would you apply for a job? And here's the question: would it be Jiffy Lube? The answer is no. By the way,
Probably not.
I guess so.
don't take mechanical advice from them. Just say nope. Take the screw out, drain the oil, put the screw back in.
Well, I
Change the
almost
filter.
always turn all that stuff down. In fact, I kept turning down my air filter and it was just like black. And they kept being like, you want us to replace it? I'm like, no, it's good. And finally, like I had them redo it. But they're getting so expensive and they're always like upselling you on that stuff. And forewarning, they might take a perfectly good part off your car and put a perfectly
sleight of hand.
ruined one on there.
They probably took the cap off and like dropped it in a box of old parts.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, shoot, which one? What? Oh, this one's bad. That one looks like, I think your thingy's bad. And it was
Yeah.
really perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Phil thinks Jiffy Lube people are aspiring magicians. Thank you. That's the word
Yeah,
I'm looking for.
Cool, great story.
Is
Let's
this your
move on.
crankcase?
They're like the Walmart of auto repair,
Oh,
Well, Walmart has
it,
it,
so-
so it's own auto repair.
Well, no, I don't do any repair there, but where I travel so much, I'm like, I go to Jiffy Lube because I like they can top me off of them. Like I think I'm a little low on oil. I can stop.
yeah, they know
by
how to
there.
do oil,
Yeah,
and that's it.
liquids, windshield washer fluid. It's fine. You can trust them. For
Blinker,
that.
blinker fluid.
Blinker fluid.
yeah.
We're fine. Reverse
Anyway.
fluid. You're good.
Sorry to derail your like Brine Shrimp.
No, I really like your story
Oh,
because I don't like Jiffy Lube. I
That
stopped
was a
going
cool
there.
story, but I actually want to hear about Terry's YouTube experience.
I know you're trying to rush the stories to get to Terry. I got it.
He hasn't got to outer space yet.
This
Yeah,
is, I
yeah,
know.
we
just made it to
No, I know.
Utah.
I know
We still got
exactly.
a ways to
This
go.
is like why I don't do this. This is exactly what
Tyler
happens.
can't
He hates us.
stand.
Tyler doesn't know this, and we haven't actually said it on the podcast yet. But we're actually we started breaking up our podcast into part 1 and part 2.
What?
So we record longer podcasts, then we have part 1 and part 2.
Oh, that
Yeah,
is-
we just split it in half. So
Usually,
like,
part 2 is the main topic.
Yeah.
Part 1 is most of the new stuff.
like not here. Just like we just edit it right in half.
Yeah.
So you have to like get 2 different weeks.
Yeah.
okay.
So now we've confronted it. We educated you live in person and the listener at the same time.
That sounds
Painful.
like more listening than I ought to be doing.
I know
For
you got
this
lots of other things to
podcast.
do.
Well, no,
Tyler.
it's
We
better
got it.
for your short attention span.
That's. I guess that's true.
because it's like, oh, no, it's only 45 minutes.
My
You're like,
dollar-
I'm bored. And
My
then-
dollar still comes out of my Patreon account.
Yeah, there you go.
Which is all we ask.
This
Yeah.
is,
All we ask is for
minimum-
Tyler's
The
dollar.
minimum amount of donation on Patreon that they will allow to take out of your account.
I get that every month. I'm like, I need to cancel that, and I just keep forgetting.
I do too. At $1, it's like, I guess I'll leave it. That's funny. Okay, let's get to nationwide news. So here's what I'm calling this: is finally a chance to get rid of those dumb kids dancing around. Right?
Oh, I hate kids. Not your kids, but just
Oh,
kids in
thanks,
general.
Tyler.
But kids in general.
But everyone else's kids in here.
Yeah.
Got it. So the House voted to ban TikTok. Did you guys hear about this? It's been all over the place.
They voted to,
Mm-hmm.
so they're banning it.
I think there's a little. I mean, that's the headline. There's a little more details to it. I think there was a vote which ended up at 352 to 65, which is, I think, mathematically that's majority.
This
right?
is the House. The yeah.
the House. Yes.
Well, it would have to be because 362 is more than 100.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
so there are no more TikTok.
Well, I think
what they say it was like 7 months. In 7 months they're going to shut it down. Something, or they've got to sell.
Didn't China ban TikTok?
China
No,
owns
China-
TikTok.
Oh, did they?
The CCP actually is like in charge of the company that owns TikTok. Something like that. There's a connection directly back to the CCP.
Yeah.
So basically what the House is saying, and it's got to still go through some hoops to make it a rule, is that China, I say China, it's the company that owns TikTok in China, needs to sell the American TikTok to an American company. And the reason why they're doing it, and I'm oversimplifying this probably, but the reason why they need to do it is because literally the data that is gathered from people's phones and devices and stuff is accessed 100% by the Chinese Communist Party.
Oh.
So the Chinese Communist Party doesn't have to do anything for America. If they say, hey, we need all your data that you have on the American people, they can say, kiss my butt. Right. So they want them to sell their portion or have control of in an American company so they can subpoena and get that information from the American company and have control over it. There's a lot of like conspiracy theory type stuff, which I don't think is too theory, some of it, because if you ever look at the TikTok terms and conditions, they're insane. They're like,
I don't have a TikTok.
The data
so.
that it collects is far unrelated to
So that's
the app itself.
So that's the reason behind the ban is just all the data collection.
right, exactly, which is genius for
Right? Well,
Chinese. If that's how they want to do it, it's like why fly a balloon over?
my
You
favorite
can-
thing with TikTok is grabbing Jake's phone and looking up soft porn
Oh,
on his phone to mess up his algorithm.
to hopefully get him a divorce.
So when
What are
his
you-
wife
what are you
looks
saying?
at it, she's like, "What's all this?"
Nice.
Tyler. Tyler did it. I'm holding it for a friend.
How long did that? I did that. Like, how long did it take for it to like
Yeah,
stop doing?
I've never gotten anything that would be the interest of a gay male on my phone. So I think we're good. You didn't mess up my algorithm too much.
That
It was about the
great.
same as what he's saying.
I was like searching like.
No, we don't need to know, actually.
Why not? You guys talk about
It's
that
okay.
stuff all the time.
I know we do.
So I can't say it.
No, you can say it, but I don't want to know.
That's fine. I was just looking at soft porn gay male stuff. So we'll just leave it at that for you, Jake, and your listeners.
You're welcome, listeners.
So what do you think about this TikTok thing? What's your general thought on TikTok?
My thought is TikTok has always been dumb,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone always knew that it was Chinese owned and that China was taking all your information, and everyone used it anyway. The president of the United States is like, let's ban TikTok, and he has a TikTok account.
Yeah.
So
He does all the
and
dances.
isn't that crazy? The president of the United States has a TikTok account, an account with a company owned by a Chinese company with direct ties to the Communist Party, like you said.
Does he have one?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, have you not seen
Or is
President
it
Biden's
AI?
TikToks?
No.
I don't even have
Is it
TikTok.
his account or
I
like
see
his
I
team's
see his
account?
tweets all the time. But
I think he has an account,
Oh, okay.
and it's actually pretty recent, within like the last 2 months.
Is
or
it
whatever.
as ridiculous as Trump's ex Twitter account / Twitter account?
Probably.
No, Joe Biden does all the TikTok dances. That's his thing.
That's how you get famous, man.
Yeah, because he needs to be more famous.
That's how
Isn't
you-
that all
that's-
it is?
that's
It's
how you get
I've never
rich.
used
No.
it, but isn't it just like
It's
people
like
dancing?
it's like any other thing. Like YouTube has their short videos, Facebook has their short videos. It's all short videos.
Yeah, it's just YouTube shorter.
It's like Instagram Reels.
And you can apply
Yeah.
like filters that make you look like a cartoon character. or
I don't
whatever.
know if you can. Can you
TikTok-
on TikTok?
the TikTok is no different on its face than Instagram Reels or Twitter's whatever they call them,
Yeah.
fleets, YouTube's shorts. The content on the platform is no different than all of the others.
In fact, most of the time, content creators place them in a program and it releases them on all of those at the same time. It puts it on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, right?
just like this podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did
Something
you
like
know that you missed the really big American fork story? Were you not going to bring
Oh,
that up?
yeah. I forgot we need to bring that up.
We
I didn't
talked
put
about
it
this
into my
before,
notes.
but Jordan Boone,
Mhm.
they found him.
Yeah.
We went to high school with him.
I'm sorry. Who you gotta remind me who
Jordan Boone.
is.
We talked about him a while back. We went to high school with him, and he was missing down by
in
like
Grand County.
Price.
Well,
Kind
Grand
of.
County is like Moab area. Well, Moab.
Yeah.
And didn't they find his guitar?
They found like his guitar and a bunch of his stuff. Anyway, just recently, like yesterday, they found his bones apparently out in the
wow.
desert. So he kind
How
of
long was he
wandered out
missing
there.
for?
It's been several years, I think. It was. I think there was a mental health thing going on.
Yeah.
He like ran into some people out in the desert in like a wetsuit, and they called the police, and the police contacted his family, and they were like, "Can you please hold him there? We're gonna come get him or whatever." But they couldn't hold him because they didn't have like a legal
Right.
way. And by the time his family got there, he was wandered off in the desert again. And
What grade was he? Was he?
I
your
think it
grade?
was my grade.
Yeah. Yeah. He doesn't. Well, anyways, to me, I don't really recall him. I don't know anyone other than the 8 of us.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember
To be
him
honest.
at all.
Yeah, I knew of him. Wasn't in the same circles, but tragic. American
it's super
Fork,
sad.
native, our age. He's
That's
gone.
sad.
So, yeah.
Doot. Another
Yeah.
one bit the dust. It is sad. It's also kind of there's a little bit of a lure to it also, like the missing aspect and years later finding, like it turns into a whole story. That's kind of interesting to me.
It's probably a good story for this episode because it was kind of a treasure hunt because
Yeah.
they were looking for him. They found the treasure of all his stuff in the desert.
That's one of the questions for
guitar
you, Terry. Have you ever found anything like bones and stuff like, or anything similar? Is a question to ask you when we get to your
Okay.
segment. When
Yeah.
we get to your segment.
Just-
After we get done
just
with
man,
the
roll
boring
that
Man,
one.
have I got a story for you.
Thank you,
Tell-
Terry.
Tell us,
A
Terry.
couple stories.
Tell us
Yeah.
at least one of those where you found bones or human remains.
Well, I haven't found that, but and which one do I want to tell you?
I don't know. We need a coin.
Yeah.
Ready? Heads,
Well-
it's that one, and tails, it's the other one.
So I'll tell you that. I'll tell you this one. We haven't got to your space news yet.
I
though.
know.
Do I need
I
to
know.
save this?
We're teasing. We're
Go ahead.
teasing right now.
We
Go
can
ahead.
go out
So-
of order.
Yeah, we're
Look,
okay.
before we move on, I
Oh
just
my
want to say
gosh.
on the TikTok ban, be careful when government sets a law or a bill creates a bill, because there is a portion of this bill that grants the president the legal authority to do the same type of thing for any website and any social media app.
Oh,
Essentially take it over and not allow people to use it. So we got to be really careful with stuff like this. While the concept of not allowing the Chinese government to mine, keep, maintain, sell, and have our personal data as American Fork citizen or American citizens is good. You know,
there's hidden
With it,
treasures.
it's earmarked
For
with a whole
example.
bunch of
Cool.
other stuff.
Love that. Terry, continue.
Well, one other quick
Oh
thought.
my God.
Because if you think about it, our government, who we know notoriously has been like spying on its own citizens, right?
Yeah.
With all the NSA stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, hey, China's created this app that spies on all of America. Let's just take that over.
Let's use that to spy on our people.
Right.
That's a cool car. I want to own that one.
Just as a thought. I'm not
Yeah.
saying that's what they're going to do.
Yeah,
but
that's what they'll do.
Anyway, tell us that story.
Thanks for interrupting,
Yeah.
Terry, guys. That was
Yeah.
great.
You found a body?
No.
No, I didn't.
Oh.
I didn't find a body. I think I found a grave once, but I didn't want to dig it up to see.
Oh.
Probably a good
found-
decision.
Found Ted Bundy's signature. He wrote on a tree in the middle of nowhere,
Whoa.
and I thought, I didn't want to check. I thought maybe there's a body there, but I didn't want to dig around. See, and years later, I went
Jeez.
back to see if I could find that tree again, because I thought, if there is a body there, then the family needs to know,
Oh, yeah.
So I went back there to and I couldn't find it again, but I need to make another trip. But several stories. One, I was hiking out in the mountains by Cedar City looking for some treasure things, and clear up on the hillside and it's a rough, steep, rocky, hillside. I got my binoculars out. I can see this white thing sticking out by this tree, this cedar tree.
Mm-hmm.
And so I go over to it, and there's a pile of rocks around it, and this white thing. I grab it and pull it out, and it was a sheet, and it had in it a bra, a pair of panties, some high heel shoes,
Mm-hmm.
and a terry cloth belt for a robe. You know, and I just thought, well, some kids up here having sex or something. You know, I
Or
didn't
just
know.
backpackers,
And then I thought, wait a minute, you know, why are they hiking up here in high heel shoes?
Right.
And why would they leave their shoes here to get back down?
Yeah.
And their underwear.
And their underwear, yeah.
Yeah, so I thought maybe something bad's going on here. So I call the cops. And I tell them what I find. You know, I didn't look around or anything around that tree to see if there's anything else. I didn't look around. But the next thing, I get a phone call back from them. They want to know where I live, what's my name, my social security number, my driver's license number,
your TikTok account,
my everything. They want to know everything, where I work. You know, and immediately I'm thinking, whoa, man, because I reported this.
Right.
I'm an automatic suspect of whatever it is.
You're
you
the
know?
first person they would,
Yeah.
So that made me leery that I wanted to dig up something, you know, if I found something that was out of the norm. And it might not have been nothing, I don't know. But another experience I had was I found these things that I call the mystery glyphs. They're a unique hieroglyph, neatly and painstakingly carved in the rocks, you know, usually in remote, inaccessible locations. The one I found was high in the cliffs in the mountains east of Provo. And I started researching and trying to figure out what these were. And by researching, I learned that there was 12 other of these scattered throughout the western United States. And today, you know, I've tracked down that there's 38 of these scattered throughout the western United States. But I had a guy contact me. He was an engineer for Raytheon, and he contacted me. And this is in probably the early 90s. This is before really there was, you know, the internet was just getting going. It might not even been going then.
Yeah,
I don't know. Just getting going. Well, it must have been going. But not very well, because I learned how to do HTML programming, and I built a treasure hunting website with a thing I had called Web TV. It wasn't a computer. It was a thing I could get on my TV and get on the internet with it.
That's funny.
Anyways, he contacted me because of that. So the internet was going. He said that he could build a computer program that we could put all these symbols in, how they lined up with each other, scattered throughout the western United States, and he could figure out how to crack the code on what these things say.
Cool.
And so I talked to him on the phone. I met him once in person and gave him a bunch of photographs.
Yeah.
And I didn't hear from him for like 6 months or a year. I don't remember how long. The next thing I know, I get this crazy letter. It says that, Terry, you know, as you probably guessed, I've cracked the code on what these things mean and what they say. And we got to go to all these sites and do what they tell us to do, and that's going to help, like, the second coming happen. And I'm thinking, this guy's nuts. He's using religion to try to get me to take him to show him where all these sites are at.
Right.
And I'm not going to do that, you know?
And I'm sure you run across that with certain characters, too.
Oh, yeah.
All the time.
Yeah, and I thought, I'm not going to take him and show him where all these sites are, you know? And then I don't...
That's funny.
And he goes on in this letter, and he says, to go out of character, I'm going to... tell you that on the night of July 3rd, the dogs are going to bark and howl and wake you up. When they do, look outside, man. The moon will be blood red, and then you know I'm telling you the truth, and I'll contact you shortly after.
Wow.
And I never heard any dogs bark, or I never woke up and looked, but nobody told me, you
and
know.
he hadn't even looked up on the internet when the blood moon was. And
So you know, anyways.
That's interesting. Yeah, you come across probably a ton of weird situations with people and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. So a few weeks go by and I don't hear from him, and I thought, well, he's embarrassed about his prediction. I'll never hear from him again, you know. And then I'm driving, and I hear on the news that this guy's name, man, his co-workers reported him missing.
Uh-oh.
And so I thought, man.
What?
So I call the sheriff and I say, hey, he give me this letter. He could be anywhere in the western United States. He was fixated on these mystery glyphs.
Wow.
You know, and the sheriff told me that his coworkers, he told his coworkers that he was going hiking in Tooele County.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even know why I said this, but I did some research on the Aztecs, you know, and where their treasure could be, and I thought it could be two places. One is West Mountain by Payson, and two is Stansbury Island there by Tooele. So I don't even know why I told the sheriff this, but I says, if it was me, I'd look out to Stansbury Island. There's no mystery glyphs out there, but if he went hiking in that area, if it was me, that's where I would go. Well, they go out to Stansbury Island, and they find his Jeep.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow.
So then now they're probably questioning you now.
Yeah, you've got.
Why? How did you know where this missing person was?
So, and I don't even know why I said that. So then they break into his Jeep, and he's left a note there.
Uh-oh.
And it says he's going looking for church treasure. Most people that go looking for church treasure end up dead, but he hopes he can find the iron rod, grab a hold of it, he'll be 10 times stronger, and he'll be all right. But if he doesn't make it, he's donating and willing all his research materials to Terry Carter.
Oh my gosh. Oh my.
So then the sheriff send a sheriff to my house, and they want to know how I know this guy, how I knew he was out there.
Oh, man.
And then they trying to tell me that hey, he's written a journal here saying that you've been out here hiking with him, and we need you to come out and show us where you guys have been hiking. I said, I don't even know this guy. I've never even... Stansbury Island is an interesting thing to me. I think maybe there could be some Aztec treasure there, maybe, but I've never even been out there yet. And
That's so funny.
And anyways, it goes on and on and on, and finally, you know, a few weeks later, they find him, and it
his
was,
remains, or he was
alive? his remains.
Oh my gosh!
And it was one of the hottest Julys that we'd had out there. And a lot of the search and rescue had been gotten hurt from falling and stuff, so it was a rugged area. Well, they finally found his body, and they thought that he'd fallen off a cliff. And but then they gathered stuffs up, and the sheriff calls me and tells me that they did find his journal out there, and they says that they don't think that he when he left his vehicle, they don't think he was planning on doing this. But when he got out there on the night of July 3rd, when he told me the moon was going to turn blood red and dogs were barking howl, on the night of July 3rd, he decided he needed to be a spirit to make whatever happen happen. So he built himself an Indian wiki up, man, and shot himself.
Jesus.
Oh,
All
my
because
gosh.
you told him about the glyphs.
I didn't know
right?
that. I didn't know that we had one of America's Most Wanted on the show.
Oh, jeez. Erroneously most wanted.
Right.
That's interesting. That's like the first, weird internet stalker stories, probably early on.
Yeah, treasure. It sounds like treasure hunting can attract some strange folk.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
That's interesting.
yeah. I like it.
Okay, I have a feeling there's a lot more stories like that, or more different. Not necessarily you and the cops, but like
I got a lot of stories, and I've got so many that one triggers the other. I just got to be reminded of them, or something that triggers me. But, to go farther on with that, I never ended up with his research material. I was curious what he was thinking. I wanted to know what he was thinking. Why I was curious of what his research was.
Yeah.
Well, the sheriff sent it to his family. He wasn't married. They sent it to his mom
Next of kin,
and sister, and the sister contacted me because the sheriff also sent him that letter that he sent me that I gave to the sheriff, saying, man, he could be anywhere in the western United States. And the sister wrote me a letter, says, hey, Terry, you're the only person alive that knows, is with our brother and knows what he was thinking, and we're struggling. Why would he do this? Because, we didn't have no clue that he was, that way or something like that. And you're the family wants to know what went on. I'd tell him, hey, I don't know anything
Yeah.
about I don't really know him. I met him once. I talked to him on the phone once. Got this letter from him. I don't really know him. I don't know what he was thinking. But then to make the family feel better, I thought, well, I'll tell him about these other deaths that are associated with the mystery glyphs.
Yeah.
And so I told them a few other stories, and they says, well, we're going to go over his notes, and then we'll send you them all because it was his last will and testament. And you get his research.
Oh my gosh.
So they go through it, and I get another letter from him. They says, nope, we're not sending you this stuff, man. We don't feel that his will said that you got his research and materials, but we don't think he was in the right mind to when he wrote that, because nobody in their right mind would shoot themselves. And so and the family doesn't want any more blood on their hands, and so
my gosh.
we're not sending it to you. So I have no idea what he was thinking, what he was doing.
What research he had.
They thought after looking at the research that it was so out there that anyone who read it might shoot themselves.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Or it led them to treasure.
They would go insane.
Or the family's like, we want to be rich because of all of his
It was a
research.
code in the glyphs that the aliens put there to drive people crazy. No.
Interesting.
Next
Okay.
story.
Are we going to go to stories? I mean news stories.
Oh.
Yeah,
This
we're
is
going
a-
to hard left turn. You ready?
Space.
Oh, okay.
Poison.
Space.
You want to jump straight to space so we can go back to
Oh,
Terry's
no,
stories,
sorry.
right? Yeah, no. Okay, I have a question for you. Well, Jay, I think you put this on there. One of you two put this on the show notes of Alec Baldwin's still in trouble.
Oh, yeah.
Do you really want to talk about that? I don't care about Alec
Well, we
Baldwin.
talked about it a while back. He shot someone on
Yep.
the movie set
Mhm.
on accident. It was supposed to be a prop gun. They were prosecuting, and then they dropped the case. And then they,
against him,
against him,
but
they
prop-
charged the armorer, and
Mhm.
they were just convicted of unintentional manslaughter.
The
something like
armorer
that.
is the person who sets up the
Who
props
supplied the gun?
Who, in theory, gave Alec Baldwin the gun.
Which
Yeah.
It was like
which one is
and
Alec
said here-
Baldwin?
he's in 30 Rock.
Oh, okay.
He's a handsome man.
Alec Baldwin plays Jack Donaghy.
Yeah, I was thinking one
Or-
of the Baldwins.
He was the captain on Pearl Harbor.
He's in Pearl Harbor. He's in.
Wasn't he
So-
the one that had called his daughter like a pig or something like that?
Oh, I don't know.
That
He famously played Trump on Saturday Night
that's
Live.
right. That's him. Yeah,
For-
he
forever.
had a call recording where he called his daughter a pig or
Oh,
something.
I don't know.
Several
who
years
hasn't
ago.
done that?
I always feel bad for those.
I don't
like,
know. Good,
who hasn't
good
done
fathers.
When people's
Oh,
private
yeah.
lives
any
get,
good father.
Supportive
divulged.
dads.
Yeah.
No, but they reopened the case against him as well, and he's getting charged again. And right now he's trying to get that dropped again. But
the thing that blows my mind about this whole story is that the reason they were using real guns is because in America, at least, it's cheaper to use real guns than prop guns.
yeah,
Is
we
it
talked
really?
about this before.
Yeah, because real guns are more accessible than prop guns. If you needed a prop gun, who would you call?
I would call Jake and have him.
No, that's a real gun.
No, have him 3D print one. Don't you have a
Oh.
3D print?
No, I don't. But I
Oh.
wish I did. I've always, no, I don't.
I'll have my dad 3D print one.
I don't know with
He has
today's
5 of them in his shop.
with today's technology, why would they even use? Why wouldn't they just use like a piece of plastic
Yeah,
and then
CGI it in.
CGI the
Yeah.
thing? They don't even have to move their hand. They're like just point
Just
it
go
over here.
grab a toy gun and spray paint it black.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That boggles my mind that there was
It's like
real,
a real gun.
guns and
Yeah.
real bullets,
How
and
did
they
he
were
not-
like, point these at people.
I don't know.
you know what's amazing to me? How did someone die in this movie Rust, but then John Wick, everyone survived? Like, come on.
Without a scratch.
Yeah. Have you seen those
holy
John Wick
smokes,
movies?
Yeah.
I love
I can't-
John Wick.
I can't
It's
remember
like shooting point blank people in the head, like
constantly.
bang, 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 bang. And yeah, often like multiple times. Like,
Violent.
yeah, any single round
Those
could have
movies
got
are
in
so
there.
good.
So it's wild.
I love John Wick.
Again, I go back and forth on this. I'm like, yes, he technically shot the person. Is it his fault at all? I just don't know.
I'm surprised that they would reopen it, because like you're on a set, you're given a gun by a prop gun for all intents and purposes 100%. It's very easy to assume that this gun is not loaded with a real round, that you're actually, on a set acting. And I don't know, I guess it's probably because he shouldn't have pointed the gun to the camera person. I don't know.
See, I'm so I like going in shooting. We're going to go shoot today. But I'm paranoid about, I'm super careful, as every non-idiot should be when handling a gun. But you never point it at someone. And I would think, even if I was like an actor on a movie set and they're like, point it at them and fire it and say, "Gotcha, sucker." Like, I would still
reluctantly
point
do it, even thinking
at Tyler, but I'm like pointing off to the left because I'm just paranoid, even though it's not a real gun.
Because you're a Boy Scout.
Agree. You're a professional. You expect professional stuff to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm a professional actor. This is the job. I would expect the props to be everything that it's supposed to be. I get it.
And it's not his first time acting in a movie where
with guns,
he's using a firearm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy how it all played out.
But at the same time, I agree. I think props should be like, oh, this is not a real gun.
This cannot kill someone.
It
is impossible.
Why not be bright orange and they paint over that in the post production? So it's so obvious, and all the bullets are pink. Just no mistakes. And really, things should be so exaggerated and obvious in those situations. Why they would use real guns?
It blows my mind.
Yeah,
and why would
crazy?
And if you had a real gun on set, why would there ever be a real bullet within a mile?
Yeah, a real round.
Groups
Don't.
But going back to my point, I want to bring this up because I ran across this a while ago. John Wick. And one of my comparison is this movie Rust that Alec Baldwin was filming. They probably shot a handful of bullets. Let's say 20 bullets. I don't even know. I don't know the show. And someone died. John Wick, just in the first movie, 275 gunshots and 77 kills. And it slowly grows to, the last movie's 140 kills with 200 gunshots. His aim got better, actually, is what we can draw from that. But throughout all four of the movies, he shot 1,052 times and killed 439 people on the movie.
And has not ever
not
been
one person was killed.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, anyway, they could do better.
See, and I wonder about that too, because it can't, or they must have ear protection in, because if he's point blank shooting a blank at someone's head, even that could cause damage. I would think. So.
I don't even think they can shoot blanks. I've seen YouTube guys go point blank to a watermelon with a blank gun, an inch away, and it cracks the watermelon.
Yeah,
because the concussion or is that the right word? The power that comes out of the barrel, even though there's no bullet there, is pretty intense.
And that's what I'm wondering, because when he fires, the weapon recoils and the slide pops back, but maybe they are smartly doing all that digitally. I just wondered that, because where he's shooting so close to their head.
That there was an actor who they shot a blank at his head, and just like you said,
he died.
He died.
Is it the
really?
Crow? The Crow?
I don't remember what it was.
It's an 80s movie.
I just remember hearing about it, but yeah.
I thought The Crow, that was another one where they actually shot him.
Yeah, I don't remember, but I do know. I remember hearing that story. Once you said that, I was like, yep, I thought it was The Crow, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think they use the blank so that they have the real recoil, their spark if it's in the dark, and so it reacts like a real
gun, except for the whole reaction of someone dying.
Yeah, do they woman. To Phil's point? Do the blanks look like real live rounds?
No,
real rounds.
Have you ever seen a blank?
They've got to be colored different or something.
They just got a piece of cardboard or something in the end of it to hold the powder in, piece of
some kind
wax
of wadding
or something.
Yeah, but even in that, if you got hit with that cardboard, as it speeds out.
Well, it did. It killed that guy that they was too close when they fired him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would probably argue cardboard has killed more people than Alec Baldwin. Just
Most
saying.
likely, yeah.
maybe.
In general,
I'd say it probably has.
all cardboard. You
All
know?
cardboard.
Yeah.
Cardboard
We're
avalanches.
not respecters of cardboards.
Cardboard, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's dangerous. We're all Boy Scouts, so pointing a gun even in the general vicinity of a person is like nerve-wracking. So
This is the point where we move on to a different story.
Jesus.
When we make
You're not
random
paying
comments.
attention to Tyler's attention span.
Well, when you make a comment like cardboard has killed more than people,
Those are my
Like-
favorite comments, though.
that's when it's like, cool, space.
I have a joke for you.
Tyler's
Knock,
like,
knock, knock.
Okay.
Knock, knock.
I'm not doing
Knock,
this.
knock.
Who's
there?
Interrupting cow.
Moo.
Interrupting
Yeah.
cow.
Okay.
Good. Shut up, guys.
I have a
What I meant
tail.
to say is Tyler's an interrupting cow. Next story.
Moo.
So this is world news, and I'm bringing this up just simply because Phil is going
Here.
way out of his way to go see the
Yes.
what is it called? The eclipse. That's
Are you
right.
coming, Tyler? Or
I-
are you not?
I want to plan. I'm planning on it.
Oh, okay.
So the title. Whoa, ad. What? This is like a news story. I just got like a video ad. So some perplexing animal mysteries stumped scientists during the 2017 eclipse. Here's why. I got to be honest. I only brought this story up for one reason, but they're in zoos. They reported like different weird animal behavior during this. And anyway, it's kind of interesting because I think there's a little bit of backstory on like that you told me about, like what the Navajo people believe on and I can't remember the details, but how it's like a reset of nature or something like that. I don't know. It definitely something's going on with Mother Nature out there,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And weird things happen. Okay, so the giraffes gathered, like they all got together and started galloping, which apparently giraffes don't gallop around much unless there's a serious danger. Like they kind of just wander, you know.
Yeah.
The tortoises began to mate. So I'm just saying you should be careful when you go to this.
Oh,
'Cause
okay.
You don't,
Watch out
careful
for
who
tortoises.
No, just the general company you're in.
And
You don't
Jeff's
know.
saying all this because I'm driving out to Texas just to see the eclipse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gorillas, they started getting ready for bed.
Oh,
They made sleepy time tea.
these are all like just insane things for animals to do. Like,
In the middle of the day?
yeah,
Yeah.
get ready for bed, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, why is this insane? I mean, it's just like
Here's my point. I don't want Phil innocently watching the eclipse to all of a sudden get raped by a tortoise.
Oh,
or prepare to go to bed.
Or
because
get
it's
the
dark
monkeys,
outside.
the gorillas around him will start putting the bed together and Phil will be like, what are
Or
you doing?
start running around. Like,
Yeah.
start gathering in
Phil
a herd
doesn't
and
run
start
usually.
galloping around.
Yeah. Here's my point. Watch out for the wildlife while you're out there.
That's why eclipses are even in concept are so amazing because animals. Here's my theory: animals freak out when they happen because virtually everything else in nature is so constant, like the weather and even like weather, like El Nino or whatever that happens. I don't know. Is that like a 10 or 15 year period? Like.
Mhm.
Or like cicadas that come out every 7 years. Like animals even have this like multi-year like patterns that they can follow in things.
Mhm.
Eclipses are so like rare that I just don't think it's built into animals at all to expect it or
It just
anything. And so
fucks
they
up
just
their
like,
natural instinct.
yeah, they're just
Yeah.
like, what is this? Like
Yeah.
my, even when I talked to my great grandpa giraffe, he never even saw an eclipse. You know what I mean? But it's amazing. We went up to the one I probably said this before. In 2017, we went up to
Yeah.
Idaho, and it just blew my mind.
Question. What was the tortoise situation around you?
There were no tortoises.
Okay.
It was just like one of the coolest things I've ever done. We went up there to Rexburg. We went into this like public park, and people just had like their picnic blanket put out and everything like that, and everyone's just chilling. The weather was so nice, and it was all weird, you know, just like the one that came to Utah last year, where it gets like all hazy and it's like weird. It's like that, but a total eclipse when it happens is just like fries your brain. It's just so unbelievable. You look. I just can't.
You're
describe
helping
it.
my case.
Yeah.
You just start galloping.
Yeah.
You just want to have sex.
Even people.
You're getting ready for bed. You
people
don't know
were
what's going on.
People were exclaiming like God was coming out of heaven. Everyone was like, "Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!" Like it was insane. And so as soon as we saw that, we were like, "Where's the next eclipse? If it's anywhere close to us, we're going." And so we're driving all the way out to Texas.
Yeah.
To go to this thing. And if you're listening, 100% it'll be worth your time to go see. And the next one's not coming through the U.S. until 2045 or something.
This one's April 8th, right?
So
this one,
April 8th.
April 8th.
Yeah, and it's coming up through Mexico, through Texas, and it goes up through like Maine,
North Carolina.
So that like swath up there, and it's only about maybe 50 miles wide. You got to be in that like path that it goes. So,
wow.
It's pretty amazing.
Just wear turtle protection.
Yes.
Yeah. Careful about the turtles.
That was for you.
The turtle joke was tired like the first time.
I can do it again. In fact, I accept your challenge during one of Terry's stories in about 20 minutes
You'll
from
bring
now.
up the
I'm going to bring up the
turtles
turtles.
again.
Okay. All right. Jake gave us a riddle, which I hate this riddle, by the way, which was, how do you spell candy with 2 letters?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That was a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And we did have a listener reach out to Jeff and provided the right answer.
Which you will be receiving $1 for winning.
Oh.
Is it my dollar?
I don't know. Sure.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty clever. Once I saw it, I was
hate
like,
it.
oh,
I'm so
of course.
pissed.
What is it?
So the riddle was spell candy with 2 letters. And the answer is C and Y. So C-A-N-D-Y.
C and Y.
It's not creative.
It is. I never would have thought of it.
Yeah, because it's incorrect. It's not 2 letters. It's 2 letters in a word.
No, it is technically 2 letters. All you're doing is saying
You're saying
C
the answer
and Y.
is C and Y.
You're giving the answer.
Well, what if I said C, comma, Y?
Yeah. Or what if I just said C, Y?
You don't.
2
you
letters.
say C and Y.
Because that's
What if
grammatically
I
just
said
like
C,
any person
also Y?
because those are all grammatically incorrect.
I'm still in the thought that Terry's like, what the fuck?
Sorry, Terry. Here we are.
Maybe.
That riddle pisses me off the same way. My sister used to have a shirt that said "Will golf for food," and it was like a cardboard cutout. And I was like, that shirt doesn't make any sense. You paid to go golfing. You're not going to golf, and someone's going to give you like this. Doesn't make any sense at all, and it upset me ever since. I was in high school.
It was Chaz.
I hate your riddle.
Chez.
Yeah.
Chez that guessed that riddle correctly. So congratulations, Chez.
Good job,
we'll have another
Chez.
one coming.
I'll
sometime
Venmo
soon.
you $1.
Mm-hmm.
So listen to me. Next
'Kay.
story. Next story.
All right.
Okay. Galactic. Thanks, Jake. Galactic news. We've made it to space. Tyler's
Okay.
not here to enjoy it yet, but space. SpaceX just launched a huge rocket into space. The Starship
Mm-hmm.
is the classification they have.
Starship Heavy or whatever it's called.
Yeah. I mean, it looks heavy.
It's
Yeah.
the biggest one they've ever launched. It's ever been launched into space.
Yeah. 30 rockets on the stage 1 booster.
Yeah.
And like 6 rockets on the one up in space. I don't know what they call those.
Orbital boosters. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, they shot it halfway around the world.
I thought it was amazing. I watched it live,
Phil
but I
didn't.
only watched the first like 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, I don't.
Phil doesn't. think it's
I'm
amazing.
actually convinced now that they don't even know what they're doing.
Why?
Because 3 rockets they've blown up.
Uh-huh.
You know, in the Saturn V program, the only rockets we've sent to the moon,
Uh-huh.
they sent the first test rocket went up flawlessly,
Mm-hmm.
did not explode. The second one went up and like had a little issue, but still got it into orbit. Also
Mhm.
didn't explode.
Mm-hmm.
The third rocket, they sent people up
Yeah.
in it.
But you want to know why? This is my own opinion. I could be wrong. Apple has a similar concept to SpaceX, which is just release it,
Uh-huh.
test it out. Let's see how it does.
Yeah.
We'll fix it.
Yeah.
Right. And then that allows for very rapid progression because if you're willing to blow up a few rockets, like you can test things out real quickly. But what NASA does is they will sit there and analyze data for literally years. If
Yeah.
you look at those 3 launches that you're saying, it's not like January and then by September it was the last launch. It's like long time in between. Constant testing and tweaking and looking and analyzing numbers and running this and doing that. They're not really doing much other than analyzing data.
Yeah.
So their quote unquote success rate is definitely higher. But if you look at the reason why SpaceX has been able to get to the point where they are, like landing stage 1 rockets, which NASA said was impossible, is because they kept trying and they blew a whole bunch of them up and they kept trying and tweaking things and changing things. And how else could you get the data faster than just trying it?
Yeah, I don't know. I think they're just not as smart as they used to be. Because they say they brought Werner von Braun over from Germany and like 1,000 German rocket scientists.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, get us to the moon. And they did.
Yeah.
They just designed a rocket that worked and then they used it. Now it's like, that's obviously not what they're doing because they've blown 3 of them up. And every time they're like, what a success. Now we know more.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you don't. You just know that your rocket doesn't work.
I don't think it's a pass-fail situation. I think it's they learn stuff. And here's what I'm going to...
I would be nervous if I was on the short list of people who are going to be the first to fly.
Yeah.
And they've blown 3 rockets up.
You'd be nervous?
Yeah, because there's no... They keep making it off like, oh yeah, when it blows up, that's like kind of intentional. I'm like, no, that thing cost a ton of money. It was supposed to be reusable, and it blew up. I think
the last one, I thought they just dropped it into the ocean.
No, so this one made it further. It actually separated, and the thing got halfway around the world and then blew up.
But the stage 1 rocket was supposed to ignite 6 engines, and it only ignited like 2 to 3, and it splashed.
Yeah,
and
I don't
crashed.
know how that's possible. How
gravity?
No, I mean how they spend all this money, and they have all these people. They've got like hundreds of engineers. How does a rocket not ignite all 6 of its engines? Did the guy not hook up the wires to the engines?
I don't know, Phil.
Well,
are you a rocket scientist?
I could be like the auditor of this whole project, and I'd go in there and be like, you're all fired. I'd be like Elon Musk with Twitter. I'd go in there and be like, you blew up 3 rockets. We're bringing in some Russians.
Well, we're going to agree
Germans
to disagree.
Whatever. Okay.
Let's compare it to something else that happened in space news. And then, by the way, big announcement. This is the last news story, and then we'll get into it.
Okay.
And Tyler's not even here to enjoy it.
Yeah.
He'll be coming back soon.
Yeah.
But so Japan was trying to get their first ever satellite into space this last year. One single stage 1 rocket, just one. This Falcon one that you're dogging on had 30. Yeah. That all ignited and went beautifully.
Yeah.
And we're just going to watch a video on how it went with Japan trying to launch their very first ever satellite into space. Ready?
Are we going to make it bigger?
No, because I can never get my phone to do that.
Oh, that's right.
Ready?
Yeah.
Look how awesome that is. Oh, that's so cool.
This is Japan's
Yeah,
rocket?
this is Japan. Oh, wow.
And then it blows up.
I know high school teachers that get rockets higher than that.
Yeah.
High school students.
Oh,
Students.
there it goes.
With 2-liter bottles.
Maybe they're being sabotaged by Russia.
Oh.
Maybe they've got like a sleeper cell people in the...
Look, it's still igniting. It's just on the ground.
Yeah.
Lighting
Ooh.
everything on fire. So...
That didn't make it high at all.
No.
That's got to be like world record lowest rocket.
So let's just say, my title to this story was Toyota needs to take over the space program, because Toyota Corollas get more miles than that did, for sure.
Yeah.
So they just need to convert the Corolla into a rocket, and it'd go probably to the moon.
Yeah. See, the thing is like there are tax dollars involved too. In most of all these situations, like the SpaceX thing, NASA's funding that because they want
the
send
data.
people up in the rocket. And
well,
it's
they
like,
want data too.
And so, of course, when they blow it up, they're like, "That's intentional, everybody. All is well. Keep giving us your tax dollars."
What else do you want them to say?
I want them to say, "We failed. We totally misused your tax money, either by designing a crappy rocket, building it crappily, or not following through, or not keeping Russian spies out of the out of
So
the
if you hang a
service.
door at a client's house and it doesn't close right, do you just turn to the client and go, I have failed. I am
do.
terrible. I wasted your money. Do not have any confidence in what I'm about to say to fix this situation because I am
do
terrible.
Sometimes I
Oh.
do say, in fact, last year I ordered the wrong door. I didn't order the wrong door. They sent the wrong door. And I foolishly tried to install it anyway and tried to make it work. And like, finally I just went to the homeowner and was like, listen, they sent the wrong door. I thought I could make it work, but it's a disaster. I'm really sorry. I've got the new door on the way. You know, I took, what's it called? Responsibility.
Yeah. What is that thing?
I did the
don't
wrong thing.
remember
And I
what that
told them,
is.
I'm like, in hindsight, I should have never even took the other one out and put this in. I just knew we were in a hurry. I was trying to get things done for you. I'm really sorry.
Well,
Any further cost to whatever needs to happen is on me. And they were like, okay, we understand, blah, blah, blah. You know, that's how I would be as a taxpayer.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I understand. You failed.
Yeah.
You rushed through it. You've blown up 3 rockets.
all
get
is well.
But instead they're like, it's supposed to happen. We're
Yeah.
supposed to blow. It's like, no, we're going to put people in this and cargo. We don't want them blowing up. A good thing to happen would be just like the Saturn V project. You send the first one up and it works. That would be good.
Yeah. Well,
Anyway, end of grape.
Don't worry because
Rant.
NASA is on it. They launched one rocket and they're planning on launching the next one in 2025. So
Yeah.
the next one might work too.
We're never making it to the moon.
Yeah.
We probably never did.
All I'm trying to explain is NASA and SpaceX are in a very different trajectory of what to do.
Oh, you think so?
Oh yeah, they're not launching their next rocket till 2025.
Well, yeah, their next
Test rocket.
self-built rocket.
Test rocket.
But
yeah.
SpaceX's rockets are technically NASA's rockets.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they're funding that.
No, NASA's not funding them. The U.S. government probably is though.
No, it's NASA. The Falcon or whatever, that super heavy rocket is to go to the moon. It's a NASA program.
NASA, no.
It's not Elon Musk that's riding up there.
You and I are
It's
going to arm wrestle.
NASA
We're going to arm
astronauts.
wrestle.
Okay.
We're arm wrestling.
Okay.
We should ask a NASA scientist,
If we only knew one.
Walter.
We're
Oh, yeah,
mind
Walter.
wrestling right now.
Yeah, I'm just telling you that NASA has their own man to the moon space program. What's it called?
And it's going
Prometheus?
on the SpaceX rocket.
No,
I'm telling you.
it's not. What is it called? What is Walter working on?
The Artemis
The
program.
Artemis program. It's a separate.
Nope. That's the rocket they're using.
We're arm wrestling.
Yeah.
All right, good. Phil, shut up.
Are we done?
Yes.
Okay.
You can put your phone down now. We're done with news.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Thank you for listening to part 1 of the American Fork Podcast. Next week, we are definitely going to make it to our special guest. We're going to sit down and talk to Terry Carter, and he's going to give us evidence and stories of real giants that live in Utah. Also, give us tips on, where's that Spanish gold or the history that's hidden in those hills.